I have tried all fasting and a voluntary isolation, solitary life, but it has come to thing or one quality that will end my seeking and my confusion. And if there is, what am I to do? May I read the question again? I have tried all kinds of meditation, fasting, and a voluntary, solitary life. But it has come to nothing. Is there one thing or one quality that will end my seeking and my confusion? Is there? If there is, what am I to do? You understand this question? Are you in that position? You understand the question? That is, one goes to Japan, Zen Buddhism, Zen meditation, the various forms of Tibetan, Hindu, the Christian, and all the innumerable meditations man has invented. And this big questioner says, I've been through all that. I have done yoga of various kinds, fasted, led a solitary life, trying to find out what is truth. And nothing. You understand this? You people don't. It isn't a tragedy to you, is it? Is there one thing, one quality that will end my seeking and my confusion? If there is, tell me what to do. You understand the full meaning of this question? I met a man once. He was a very old man. I was quite young. Grey hair, almost dying. And he heard one of the talks and came to see me afterwards. And he said, I have spent 25 years of my life in solitude, in meditation. I've been married and so on, but I left all that. And for 25 years I meditated. And I see, now that I have heard you, that I have lived in an illusion. You understand? 25 years, you people don't know a thing. And to say to oneself, I have lived an illusion, I have deceived myself. You understand? At the end of 25 years to say that. Which means a wasted life, which you are doing anyhow, without being meditating for 25 years. And he asks, what is the one thing, one action, one step that will resolve my confusion, the end to my search? You understand the question? Are you in that position? Any of you? except the questioner. You understand? You have come to the end of your tether. You have read, you have walked, you have heard, you have cried, you have meditated, you have longed, you have sacrificed. You understand? Probably you haven't done any of those things. And if you have, then what is the one thing that will resolve all this? First of all, don't seek. You understand what it means? Because if you seek, you will find. What you find, what you have already sought. I wonder if you see all this. What you will find in your search is what you have projected. You, being your priest, your gods, your professor, your guru, your philosophy, your experience, that projected in the future you will find. Therefore, a wise man doesn't seek. And the questioner says, what is the one thing for that one thing there must be total freedom from all attachment. To your body, to your exercises, to your yoga, to your own opinions, judgments, and persons and beliefs. Complete freedom from all attachment. Right? Don't make it a sorrowful thing, it isn't. There must be no fear. But this is not one thing. Absolutely no psychological fear. And therefore, when there is physical fear, you deal with it. You understand what I'm saying? When somebody is attacking you, you deal with it. But psychologically, there is no fear. That means no time is tomorrow. No, you don't get all this. And the mind, having understood the nature of sorrow, therefore freedom from sorrow, which doesn't mean that you are indifferent and all the rest of it. Freedom from sorrow. Right? These are only indications, not the final thing. If these don't exist, the other final thing cannot be. You understand the point? I don't think you do. Look, sir, a man or a woman, a man has spent years and years searching, seeking, asking, demanding, so-called sacrificing, taking vows of celibacy, poverty, you follow? And at the end of it all he says, my God, I have nothing. I have ashes in my hand. Even though they think they have in their hands Christ or Jesus or the Buddha, it is still ashes. I wonder if you see all this. And such a man asks, what is the right action in my life? Right action which will be right under all circumstances. It doesn't vary from time to time according to culture, according to nation, according to education. Right, precise, actual. When all this is clear, that your mind is totally unattached. To its own body. And no fear. And the ending of sorrow. Then if that is clear, the one thing is compassion. Understand? Out of all this comes compassion. Then compassion is not ashes in your hand. It isn't the compassion that does social reform, social work. The saints, it's in the compassion of the saints. Compassion of the people who go out in the war and heal people, doctors and so on, so on. It's not that at all. It's the one answer that is true under all circumstances, and therefore out of that, right action. Because compassion goes with intelligence. If there is no intelligence which is born out of compassion instead, then you get lost in some trivialities. And the world then accepts those trivialities as being the extraordinary acts of compassion. They become saints and they become heroes, they become all kind of idiotic recognitions of silly people. So there is one act, one quality that is supreme, and that's compassion with its intelligence. And out of that intelligence, there is a right action under all circumstances.
May I speak now?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, friends. In this video, a person comes to Krishna ji and asks a question that I have been seeking for many, many years. He doesn't say what he is seeking, but he wants to end seeking. And asking Krishna ji about is there any one quality which can end seeking, confusion, all that. Krishna ji remembers a old person, who had meditated for 25 years in Himalayas. And even at the end of 25 years, this old man, he was not really clear and not free from seeking. So Why does anyone seek? And what do we seek? Generally, most people are seeking money or fame, and they want to become somebody important in society. And most people are like that. They want attention from the world. They want to become somebody. But here, this man, he wants some kind of peace, a very silent mind, clear mind, no confusion. And there are very few people who are interested in what this man, the questioner, is interested in. Maybe people who have money and who have achieved something and they are still not happy and they want something which can make them real happy, very silent, clear mind. So um, very few people, I think some of us are interested in Krishnamurti teachings or spiritual psychological search. Very few people are interested. People are interested in, um, you can say, politics or entertainment, films, sports, and economics, and all that. So, very few people are interested in finding out what is that quality which can end all our search. And Krishna ji says, uh, don't search. And Krishna ji says, wise people don't search. But I don't think that kind of answer will satisfy, because as long as we are not clear, as long as we have not found a real that quality, compassion or love or freedom from attachment, as long as that has not happened, we will be searching. And so, by saying that don't search, it will not satisfy the questioner. He will still be searching. So, what I would say, my answer to such a person, I would say that what is the state of your mind with which you are seeking? If it is confused, the beginning, then whatever it does, it will produce more confusion. So uh, it is necessary to be alone, to be in a good environment, and then turn the attention inward and look at what is these thoughts, all kinds of thoughts coming and going, to observe that thoughts without trying to analyze, without trying to say that is this all in my life, one thought after the other thought. So if a person has the quality of looking, being alone, being silent, turning the attention inward, looking and not analyzing, not saying anything. And maybe, like if I can say about myself, that I was doing that, but what interested me is that what is this I or me which is searching? Because here also he says, my seeking. So, what is this me? How does it arise? And Krishnaji says that this me seeking, it all comes from thinking itself. So the only thing one can do is to observe how these thoughts are arising, and out of that, this sense of I or me coming. Is it possible to really observe the beginning of a thought? And such a question, I think Krishnaji also once asked, is it possible to begin to observe the beginning of a thought? Because our problems of psychological nature, they are coming from thinking only. Because if our mind is silent, there is no me, there is no I, only thoughts are coming and going, and there's a possibility of observing these thoughts from a different dimension, not through thinking, because a thought, observing thought, then it will continue. But there is a different dimension called awareness, which is not thinking. So when such a thing happens in our life, that there is a possibility of observing thoughts from a different dimension which is not thinking. And that is called awareness or choiceless awareness. So when such a thing happens, I think a person will feel that there is something new has happened, because otherwise our life goes on in thinking and feeling, and it is not even aware of what is going on. So uh, the quality required is curiosity, to look inward, uh, attention, uh, passion, energy, all this quality. And when sometimes the mind can stop in this state, and at that time, many people get frightened of silence, because it means that there is no I or me, and that is a psychological death. And that is frightening for most people. And so we try to escape all the time from that silence, from that real looking. And so we read books, we watch TV, we watch videos of Krishnamurti year after year. But I feel that it is not very important to keep on reading Krishnamurti again and again, but stop reading and looking at our inner world in a direct way. So as long as we don't do, we will have many doubts, many questions, many confusions. And somebody can answer, like Krishnaji answered the question, but it will not satisfy as long as we don't take the journey within our own mind. And so this me, that my seeking me, is a very, very little prison. And in that there is no fresh air coming. So when all the windows of the mind and the heart are opened up, then something may come uninvited, because we cannot search for this intelligence or compassion or whatever name, awareness, whatever name we give it. It will come by itself when the state of our mind is very silent very curious, looking inward, not analyzing. And once it happens, and we are not afraid of that state of silence, then we know that there is something else in us apart from thinking and feeling. And then this may help us in our life. And then we like to do it more and more often whenever we have time. We don't need to go to Himalayas. We don't need to go to study center. We can be with inside our room and looking inward. And that is what I was doing in Iowa State, in my office in the electrical engineering department. I did not attend any seminar or just curious to look at what Krishnaji was saying. And I found that there is something else within us, this awareness, which can see clearly thoughts and feelings. And in that state of awareness, thoughts and feelings, they do not do any harm. Even if it is a whatever thought, good thought, bad thought, as long as we are looking, these thoughts are coming and going. There is nothing static. Our mind is what is, means these thoughts are coming and going. So no need to get attached to any particular thought. And that is what Krishnaji says, don't be attached. Attached to, he says, family and attached to opinions and ideas and all that. Not even saying that Krishnamurti is the greatest person or greatest philosopher, not getting attached to Krishnamurti also, but being alert to our own mind and not accepting what Krishnaji is saying. And he also says that there is no authority in this field. You have to be a light to yourself. You have to find out for yourself. And by asking questions, by having dialogues, it may not happen because I had no dialogues with anybody for many years when I came to Krishnamurti. So I think finally it depends on our own intensity, curiosity, honesty, ability to look inward, not getting frightened of silence and all that. So I have said enough thing right now. So any person who would like to speak.
Dinesh Waghmare ji.
Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you, Harshad sir, for bringing this very interesting topic. This is very interesting. What questioner is saying that he has not got anything in 25 years from JK. But the same thing people have been telling to JK also, that we are coming to you from 25 years and you could not get anything. So something is wrong somewhere, and that one has to find out. Now, in my views, here is the question of individuality, both on guru or mentor or whatever you can say. Mentor, say suppose we use him, if there is a allergy to the guru word, then we use mentor. And also on the part of the individual, one has to find his, first of all, he has to find a right mentor who can guide him, and if he doesn't get anything from, say, JK, then he has to find another. He should not consider anybody as authority, as Harshad sir said. There is no authority in this field. So what he is seeking actually? Name, fame, or the ultimate truth, or what? And if he is seeking, suppose, ultimate truth, then what for? So he has to understand first and find out the right mentor, because it is both ways. Mentor also guides you, and you have to do your own, say, sadhana for that particular thing to, as per the advice of your guru or mentor. But what happens, his superficial ego, we talk too much about the inner ego and all that. But first of all, superficial ego. What is the superficial ego? Suppose I am fan of JK and I go to, say, Avdeshananji Giri or say any other saint. I don't listen to him, or I want to see with keeping on my eye spectacles of JK where he has reached. So these are, I want to judge him. So these are the problems basically. Superficial ego is a very destructive thing, and that makes harder for him. He wants to go, he wants to, if he wants to get the ultimate, uh, basically he wants to get ultimate on his conditions. The problem is he doesn't want to leave anything and he wants to get that thing on his conditions. He doesn't see that he has to drop his personality. He doesn't see that he has to fight with himself rather, because he is made up of his self or observer in language of Krishnamurti. So he has to fight with that only, whatever his beliefs are and whatever his conditionings are. So basically he doesn't understand that thing. And on the contrary, he, with that only, with his observer only, he tries to find out who is the right man. So that is the problem. He doesn't see that he has to drop his personality, means he has to fight with himself only. So that is the thing. So it is two ways, right mentor and right sadhana. It may be full of efforts or effortless. It depends how the individual is there. Means what is his capacity, what is his capability, how intelligent he is. Suppose he is that intelligent that he can understand JK, or at least somebody guides him and he understands JK. And he not only understands this intellectually, but also he is able to apply it in his life with the heart and with the full blood and all that, whatever has been said earlier or discussed. If he can drop that or he can follow that, then JK is the right person for him. If he is not, then he has to understand what other gurus have to say. It is very interesting if you find JK teachings. In JK teachings, there are, if you find out the chapter on or teachings on this Sikh or seeking, you will find that what you are searching and seeking, on these two, out of these two chapters, he has explained very well the fragmented energy. The energy is basically fragmented, and the energy which is fragmented. So what is this energy? JK has also talked at various places. We have seen that he has talked about energy. So basically, energy is there which is working behind you, we can say behind self, or it is giving power to self. So what is the nature of this energy? That one has to understand, and he has to monitor that. what the requirements of energy from him, rather than what he desires or what are his requirements. So that one has to understand, and he has to study. Then only he can move ahead. In this also, what JK says, these are only indications and not the final thing. If this is not there, the final thing cannot be. Means these are only whatever he has spoken. Those are the basic things. If he can attain those things, then I think he can move ahead or go ahead. But if he cannot, then he has to find some other ways. And there are some other ways, because ultimately energy is working. So energy, if it can fragment the things with the thought, it can also do some it can also give some insights despite of thoughts. As Harshad sir said, that thoughts may be there, so it can give some indications, or if you are in the right direction, it may come to you and it can guide you. In our tradition, they say Guru Tattva. Guru Tattva can come and guide you. So Guru Tattva is different thing. Guru Tattva is the energy which is awakened. Krishna Murthy says awakening of energy. People say Guru Tattva will come and जागृत हो जाता है और वो आपको guide करता है. So one has to see all these things. Further, we can say, now JK said many things in this video, and which are difficult for a common man, which we have talked. Say for example, if he is a man is married, whosoever has come to JK, then the family automatically becomes liability and attachment. The family has automatically becomes liability and attachment. See, your subconscious and unconscious mind, that is very smart, and it knows actually it is taking care of you, and not the not your superficial mind or superficial ego or conscious mind. So it automatically understands whatever options you take, it moves accordingly. So if you have got a family, then automatically there is attachment. Now you have to not only leave these attachment, but also the whatever the minimum requirements are there, these you have to fulfill. Otherwise, thought will always be there that this is left, that is left. So one has to be very careful in this. Similarly, detachment from the body. He said detachment from the body is very difficult. How can you detach yourself from the body? Because there will be again pain, physical pain will be there, physical sorrow. There are so many sorrows will be there. So one has to be first free from these things, as he said. So can you detach from your body, or a common man? Because common man, as we said, he said that I should get the things on my conditions. So my conditions means no detachment. My also is a question here. If somebody gets in meditation, whatever is his projection of mind, so what is the problem in that? Suppose it is very difficult for me to meditate on all these things, whatever he says, or contemplate first on these things and then go for the meditation, what JK has suggested. Then suppose my mind projects something, DT, any DT or anything, and I go for it. So all the fragmented energy will will, we can say, all the energies will club, and I will get that projection, right? It is not the actual thing, but I will get that projection. And then further, later on, I can drop it, or that person can drop it. So that is also possible. And other people are going in this way only. Many in Bhakti Marg or in other Marg, people are going like that only. Ultimately, what they do is they drop the final image also of the deity. And they say it Saguna Upasana and Nirguna Upasana. So Nirguna Upasana, when there is no only there is no good available, then that Upasana is free from all these things which JK is saying. So to go to that, first they follow the Saguna Upasana and then they go for the Nirguna Upasana. JK ultimately asks for awakening of intelligence, which is also one should get first. So whatever JK has said in this video, ultimately he has come to the compassion, and which is not of I should say this world. This is because it is not fragmented. And another, he says that one has to go, they go, this compassion and intelligence go hand by hand. So ultimately he is saying that awakening of intelligence should be there. Or Harshad sir said other dimension is there. So that dimension, unless one touches, and he can touch, there is no problem, provided he goes with the right this thing, dedication, honesty, and everything, passion, and all that, which we have already discussed in our past lectures and all that. So right now, this much I would like to say. Then we will see what. Thank you.
Harshad sir, do you want to say something?
Who, me?
Yeah, Harshad sir.
Anybody else? Yeah. Dakshina Murthy.
Murthy.
Yeah. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, but there is no power here. I am not able to connect with my video.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, but I would like to discuss this matter further based on the video and also what Harshadji has said. First of all, the man is talking of meditation, going to various places to find. To my mind, it appears he is trying to find truth, and he could never find it. So he came to Krishnaji and is asking in the deep pain, "Tell me one thing that can transform me, so that I will be in peace, I will be out of confusion, and I will be able to have that bliss." Already Krishna Ashadji has told about Krishnaji is giving an example of his one friend of him who left the family for 25 years, gone into the other places, leaving the family, and spent all his time in meditation, in silence, and also in loneliness. And after 20 years, he has come to know that he is following an illusion. He's an illusion, and he wasted all his 25 years. So, starting from that, Krishnaji is coming to the main point, and he says, in fact, if you go a little more deeply, truth is at the level of perception. It is not at the level of ideation or knowledge. So, if you try to find truth with knowledge, you will never find it. That's why he's telling seeking cannot be there. And when you seek, what you see is nothing but a projection of what you have thought about truth. So you are finding your own projection. That is not thought. That is nothing but you are actually fooling yourself. You are seeing only an illusion. So Krishnaji is coming to the main point, and he says, when there is attachment, when there is fear, he is talking of psychological fear, not physical fear. Physical fear you can handle as and when that arises, not a problem. But he's talking basically about the psychological fear, and he's talking about the sorrow. Attachment, psychological fear, and sorrow, as long as all these things are there in your consciousness, you will not be able to connect with that eternal truth or peace or peace or happiness. So first we should understand what this attachment is, what this fear is, where from it is coming, and likewise what is the sorrow. If you look at attachment, we have gone through it earlier also. Attachment leads to again fear. Attachment to a thing or to a person or to knowledge or to ideas, all these things will actually will not help you. And then the opposite, attachment, you try to go for detachment, which is opposite of attachment, but it is also the same thing, that is got the same root. So that is not the thing. In fact, in the family also, without attachment, can you live? Dinesh, he was asking this question, Dinesh Waghmare. My answer is, if you are in a state of love and affection, it is possible not to be attached to your family members, but you can definitely look after them, because you take care of you are in a state of love and affection and care. So trying to help them and all without being totally attached to them. Likewise, psychological fear, that is also a dangerous thing. And Krishnaji spoke extensively about psychological fear. And fear darkens the mind, and you get confused. You don't know what you are doing. And the third one is he's talking about the sorrow. Sorrow, we all know. When the self is there, there is a sorrow is there. The I, me, myself. As long as it is there, again, there is no peace at all. Then he's talking of the social service, like people go to the war front, doctors and other people try to help the suffering people, help them. He is telling even that is not help, not compassion. That is not compassion. It is only a social service in order to get name and fame, but it is not the true compassion. So he says, when all these things are eliminated from your consciousness, then only it is possible for that compassion to flower in your consciousness. And when that happens, that compassion comes along with that intelligence. That intelligence will guide you to do the right action. And so you will be able to understand and be in a state where you can perceive the truth, and then everything is normal for you. That is what I understood. Thank you very much.
Pradeep ji.
Yes. I'm audible, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the more words we use, more than what JK has used in this video, the more complex it becomes. So the main thing, when we come to the main thing, he says, because the questioner seems to be, the question is, tell me, he's still in a seeking mode. And JK has used one beautiful word at the end of the tether. That tether, what is that tether? Yourself, your karta bhav. You're doing this and that, and I must, everything is covered in that 25 years. So he is asking one thing as if it's a material. It is not. One quality, which is the realm of consciousness. So he is still in a seeking phase, And he has come to JK. Likewise, he would have gone to so many people with the same hope of getting something or some quality. So it's a psychological problem outright. There is no question. And of course, psychology is related to physical and material also. I don't deny it. So, and now he must be knowing it pretty well. What JK will tell is also in the form of words. How it touches you, how it touches me, anybody's words, that matters a lot. Then he talks about compassion. Compassion is samvedanshilta, you can say in Hindi. Samvedana. Compassion. So naturally, the moment the self, somehow the self, yourself is not that important, you are not that important, you are not that different from anyone. So naturally, then only there is a chance of getting that state of compassion, real compassion. You see? So this is another way of saying that through self you cannot get it through self. And end of the tether means end of yourself. So again, he is in a definitely different, same seeking mode in a way, subtly speaking, seeking mode. Not knowing exactly what he is looking for, what his own life is, what are the chances of getting it. He is still outgoing, he is still getting, he is thinking that something from outside will come to me, some guidance, something like that. So he continues to be in that state. But JK being in unconditional love in a way, he will never say that you cannot get it or you can get it. He says through one thing is compassion. And compassion naturally is a state of love. To me, this is love only. And when love is there, where is the problem? There is no problem. Seeking and your own projections, your mind game, all related to the self. Once you are out of this, then naturally you will know, you only will know, because Dinesh was talking about the individuality. Individuality is there because of our individual conditionings. So how you get it, how you take it, and how much you know about yourself in different moments in these 25 years of chronological time. So all that counts a lot. But the only thing is that you are still in a state of sorrow, seeking some solace, seeking something, some state of consciousness where you are at peace with yourself. So this Harshad ji has covered a lot, not more. I don't want to take more time. This is all what he has said in this. Thank you very much.
Shakti ji.
Yes, sir. This is something very strange that one is always running away from oneself. It is like one doesn't like oneself, the presence of oneself. So that's very strange. So that observation, what Harshad ji talks about, watching our inner space, watching thoughts, watching emotions, watching this uneasiness when we are by ourselves. That is of primary importance. And we usually escape from a monotony. That monotony is connected with looking at life inattentively. So to be aware of the outside world and inner world is of primary importance. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else would like to speak?
Yeah,
Dinesh ji.
I would like to say one thing. Can we see the more the words we use, suppose fear, attachment, then other words which JK has used all the time. All these words are part of duality. And those are backed by the energy, which he calls felt energy. Is there any possibility that these energies can unite and we can see the whole movement at once? JK has also said the same thing. He said, can you see that there is actually one movement of energy, which then bifurcated into many movements or creates the duality. So one has to understand that he should not get lost in these words. And actually JK is also trying to show you that first he says that you should be aware and you should be very alert and all that. And then he starts using all the words, various words, to see whether you are alert or not. You understood what he said or not. So you will find in every his lecture, there are so many words. And one word gives birth to another word. So we have to understand all these things. And then we have to see that there is a total movement. So can we do that? Or how many people can do that? That is very important. Thank you.
Dinesh ji,
Yeah, please.
you have said that how many people can do that, but one has to see that he can do it or not.
Yeah.
Yes, I already told that this is a question of individuality. So in meditation or contemplation, while we are just watching whatever is going on in our inner world, how many fragmentations are there? How many fragments are there? And what is our actual desires and what is our actual need? So we have to drop many things. So can we drop it? That is the question. Or individual can drop it. Because it is a question of JK. JK says many things. When he sees a person who cannot do this, then he says, you write down on the paper whatever you think, and then you go through it and see what is available in yourself or whatever is there in yourself. which he calls self-knowing, not self-knowledge, self-knowing.
Self-knowing is the important point.
Yeah, that is the important point. So he has to, one has to see. So there he has not talked here, but there cannot be one thing or one quality. One quality can be there only when the awakening of intelligence is there. Then we can say that that intelligence is supporting you. And whenever it starts appearing, your ego automatically starts getting diluted. This is my individuality. So you have to see this, all these things. I also gone through this thing in around 30 years. So 30 years, my experience is I am free with many things, but in course of time, so I have taken too much time. And still I am getting time. I want to get any new thing, and I want to drop it. It becomes difficult for me to drop it immediately. I have to take the help of time only. Means I have to go through it, and I have to remain with it, and then only I some course of time it gets dropped. That is the thing. That is the fact with me.
I want to add one thing.
So one has to see what is the. Yeah.
I want to add one thing only, that seeking is a natural process.
Yes. See,
seeking is a natural process, and as JK has said that let the thought flower or let the emotion flower. So unless you allow the seeking to flower and to understand it, then it will tell what it is.
See,
what are your things basically?
Kamlesh ji, what I want to say on this, if Harshad sir allow me to speak a little bit. Actually,
Yeah.
seeking is also a word, right? Motivation is also a word, right? So
Yes.
there are, passion is also a word, but what is behind it? Passion is energy, basically, right?
Basically,
so from which area of your this thing, personality it is coming, that you have to see. In most of the cases, JK says that thought is the main thing, culprit. But if you see, many times emotions and feelings are on the primary this thing manifestation. They are manifested on the primary basis, and then intellectual thing comes.
So
that is the case.
What I think that the energy drives which are coming.
Yes.
Energy drives basically which are coming, and thoughts and emotions.
Yes.
Feelings and emotions and energy drives. Those are the important foundations which has to be seen clearly.
Yes. Suppose you are going through a jungle, right? And there are unknown things. You don't know what will come up. So at that time, you will get the fear first. Thought is absent because thought cannot tell you what is manifested. Whether a tiger will come or whether any other animal will come. You don't know. So from unknown, what is coming to you? Fear. So that you have to see which thing comes first.
Harshad sir, do you want to say something, or Ravi Kaushal?
Yeah, yes, I want to say something, but if there is some new speaker, anybody who would like to speak, is there anybody raising hand?
Ravi Kaushal ji has raised his hand.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard all the speakers a little bit, but two, three things I think which I see. whenever people think in terms of we, you know, how we can do that, and when they are using the term we, it seems to me that that energy is that energy is a philosophical kind of energy. It is not, actually meeting with the subject. There is no we actually. Then we are talking only philosophical things, only discussion and have a cup of tea and all that. But there is no serious thing in that. Serious energy is not there. Whenever you think. And more thing, we are all using one more word that can we do that? When you do that, this I think Pradeep sir raised that thing that this doing concept is something. Whenever you are doing something, that is the continuity of me. It seems to me like that. These two, three things, of course, when there is a seeking thing, or when there is, I don't like those minds, the mind which is seeking, and also the mind which is, which has conclusions, which know the thing, which says that I know. I think they have lost this openness. So these two, three things, I think, are hindrance. This is the continuity of the self. When you are saying use time, that means that you are not seeing that you are the time. You don't see the movement of the time, how time becomes time. The You don't see that is the the fallibility of the psychological time. Fallibility, whether it will not take you anywhere. Rather, you will see the only thing is there is what you are, how the what is of your own state of mind. That is there, and in that state, if there is a time movement, if your mind is thinking in terms of time, you can see that. That is what is. That is the only thing which can change, which has energy to to break the pattern. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Can I say something here?
Maybe let me. Okay. Okay, you can say. Yeah.
See, what are the main ingredients of thoughts? One is intellectual plane, another is emotions and feelings, and sensory data, right? Suppose we are seeing English horror movie, suppose, or a horror movie. What happens? They actually bypass your all intellect, and the feeling generated are more important there. Suppose something strange comes in front of you, then you get excited by that. So there, the intellectual portion is not at all coming into picture. So that we have to understand. And what JK has trying to say is when thought understand itself that it is got the limitations. Thought itself is aware of its limitations. Then it goes. Then it doesn't become hurdle to your thinking. So
Okay.
it means whatever in other your tradition says that you surrender actually. So that is the state where when thought understand that it cannot bypass this thing, then it surrenders. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah. May I say something now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I have met some people after reading Krishnamurti, they were more confused. And then they said that they made a mistake in reading because now they understand intellectually what Krishnaji is saying, but cannot live that way. So it creates more conflict. And there's a desire to be free, but one cannot be free because it's not in your hand. to be free. So it creates more conflict in some people, and some people who were also working in Krishnamurti organizations, and they were very much interested in Krishnamurti. But after many years, they felt sometimes some kind of depression. Some people needed to see psychologists, and so one time Krishnaji said that this is a dangerous teaching. It's not easy because you have to see things as it is and not try to escape. So seeing what is and not do anything, not come out of it, not desiring what should be, is very difficult. And there was one professor who had understood Krishnamurti, and he was even giving lectures on Krishnamurti. And he came to Krishnaji in Rishi Valley, and he said that he had studied Krishnamurti's teachings for 30 years, but he said he had not moved. That means he had not changed. And Krishnaji said, you have not moved because you have not stopped. So what does it mean? That just gathering the ideas, knowledge, concepts of Krishnamurti, one can be very clear about it. But to live that way, that means to be really free from the desire to be somebody. That is difficult because people want something out of this knowledge, what they gather. And our mind is such that it is interested in the things outside, whether it is a physics, chemistry, history, mathematics, it's outside things. But to look, and scientists are looking with great curiosity at the whole universe. But when that curiosity is directed inward, looking at not in order to arrive at anything, but just a natural curiosity to look how these thoughts are coming and how one thought changes to another thought, and just observing that without doing anything, that is, I think, the most important quality, I would say, which can clear up all this confusion. So only nothing to understand, only to see what is as it is, and without expecting anything. And then sometimes suddenly there may be some insight, something may come, and it will come on its own. You can't go after it. And then sometimes some changes also begin to happen in your eyes, in your brain, in your body, and you become more sensitive if it is done in the right way. But if it is not done in a proper way, then can create more confusion, more questions, more questions, more discussion, and it can go on endlessly. But when a person is able to see clearly, even if a question comes, nobody else can answer that question. You have to look at the question itself. As Krishnaji says, the answer is in the question. So that state of looking without desiring anything, that is the only quality that will clear up all the confusion, I feel. All that seeking, only looking and looking clearly. Okay, I finished.
It is already time, 7:25.
Yeah, and one more
yes,
thing I would say, one more thing is that what Dinesh said, if Krishnaji's teachings not helping, maybe some other teacher can help, or another approach like a devotion surrendering, so there are many different ways one can come to understand oneself, not only through Gyan Marg or asking questions, discussion and knowledge. Not there are many different ways. So each person can find out for himself what is it that helps. If Krishnamurti is not helping, one should drop it and go to something else. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Kamlesh, I think, yeah.
Dinesh
Yeah,
has raised
last
his
word.
hand.
Yes, last what I want to say. Basically, what is confusion? Confusion of a mind is basically energy jargon or disturbance in the energy. So first one has to understand what is energy. This is vital question in or a major question in every mark. Name the mark and this question is there. So whether it is a tantra or whether it is a Vedanta or whether it is a any other marg, bhakti marg or say Krishnamurti, they all talk of energy. So what is this energy basically? That one has to understand. And understanding energy itself means going beyond the thought. Or thought is also basically a product of that energy. So one has to understand why this frustration is coming up or why the energies are getting so intermingled or whatever it is. So one has to see that. And if he focuses on that, or what JK says, attention without self, if that is possible, then I think things should be clear. Thank you.
Should we end it, sir?
Yeah, just one question, Dinesh ji. What is it that understands energy? So that entity, I think that is a pure awareness which can see, feel, and that is what other people call it true self or Atman or choiceless awareness. Or that is the real thing, which is not thinking and feeling. So there is something else within us. When that is awakened, intelligence or anything, that is all.
Suppose
Yeah.
how things happen. Basically, suppose I see a good fruit or say a tree. What happens? First, I get the image and its name. Then what happens? It gets dissolved. First, there is a duty, and then the actual what we can say. What gives me the exact data that this is a mango or this is this. So further I reproduce it as or in words, but what which is differentiating that this is mango and this is banana. So when you get the actual message inside, suppose say you are drinking milk and you are drinking water, which thing this differentiates that this is milk and this is water, which thing gives you the message at the core level. So there if one focuses, then he will see that there is something different is happening, and one has to focus on that. Then only he can get that energy phenomena, because ultimately if you attend to that energy, then it shows its own this thing, its own it will give its own identity. What is it basically? So, or how do you get the message that you are alive? You are not dead. So ultimately, who is telling you that you are alive? At the core level.
We can close it now.
The heart, you mind, but at the core level, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it is
Thank
time
you.
now. So thanks everybody.
Thank you, sir.